Text them. Be a master of your faith is what we're talking about. Good call. We're going to give a lot of good learning. I asked everybody to ask 3 questions or write down 3 questions. So everybody can write down 3 questions. Share the feed. Write down 3 questions. And yes. And I'm going to start with your question first. Okay. Over here, one of yours first, just to get it started. I'm going to skip most of the announcements. I really want this to be effective for you guys. I really, really do. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but there is, when you get closer to your supreme destiny, you will get a lot of unnecessary battles thrown your way. I've already said something that resonates with his spirit. He says he's got what he needs from the call, confirmation. And so let me tell you why. Okay, so I tell you what, Tempest, you can go ahead and start recording now if you don't mind. And then we'll get started in 1 or 2 minutes. I can go home. That's my all-star business partner. Thank all you guys for calling in. We are live now. We started a minute or 2 early. There is a website, vatsjunior.com, JR as Junior, JR. Please go there and get a lot of free content. Sign up for the webinar, Biz from Zero, start a business from zero webinar. When you guys are, I want to talk to you tonight about how to master your faith, how to be a master of your faith, be a master of your faith. But before I do that, well, I'm actually doing it right now. But when you get closer to your supreme destiny, you get all these peripheral battles. It's because, and I'm going to explain this in great detail, but if you're religious, or if not, it still makes sense. You're trying to get to level 10, but if I wanted to stop you, I just create battles on level 3, like 50 of them. And I just keep letting you fight those battles so you never move forward. So if you have a lot of arguments, unnecessary things, or just brand new people popping up, or old people who have been loyal all of a sudden no longer being loyal, that's part of the process. And you're tempted, even me, to lose it in that moment. But sometimes you have to recognize this is just a peripheral battle, watch it, that does not deserve my energy. Okay, I just freed someone. This is a peripheral battle that does not deserve my energy. Everything in your life does not deserve your energy. Because if you observe it, you give it energy. If you give it energy, it grows. Okay? Quantum physics says this. Reality cannot exist unless a conscious observer enters into it. You have something in your reality that is not worthy, that is not worthy of you. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you just join us, we see. I know Tempest is looking on. She always looks online, see who's calling in and stuff. And I just heard somebody chime in. The phone lines are open because we're going to do a Q&A while I'm talking. Okay, so at any point, anybody with a phone, just do me a favor, keep your phones muted. And you gotta hit *6 to do that. Or you just hit the mute button on your cell phone, right? So if you're cooking, that's okay. Just ask your question and then go right back to mute, okay? If you're online, on Facebook online, just drop the little question or whatever, and I will get to that question as fast as possible. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Tonight I want to teach you about how to be a master of your own fate. Now here's the problem with this. Some of you believe in fate. I personally do not. Okay, now I believe in fate if I can control it. That's my fate. Okay, does that make sense? And that's just biblical reasons for that if you're biblical. And I don't like anything that I cannot manipulate to work for me. The opposite of courage is conformity, not fear. Okay? And so if you don't see the circumstances you want, create those that you do desire. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have 3 things I'm going to give to you. But before we do, let's go over here. You had a question that you asked off camera And that first question was,
how do you stop worrying?
Okay, there you go, right? How do you stop worrying if you guys have not heard it? Now listen, you can't master your fate and worry at the same time. If I was an old folk, if I was in like the church or a mosque or something, I tell you, you can't pray and faint at the same time. You only do one of them. You're going to pray about it, or listen, you can't worry. So here's how you stop worrying. There's 2 ways to stop worrying that would actually lead you to positive results. Here is way number 1 that most of you are going to go like, man, I can't do that. You stop. Right? Everybody's like, you know what? I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to stop. Right? But the truth is, you stop. Most of you take 29 years to get to a decision. But when you actually make the decision, it was in seconds. And you have to realize that. Now, here is the most appropriate way for average people to stop worrying. You look at your supreme destiny or your defining moment or your major goal. Okay, this is very important. This is very important. Do me a favor and mute your phone. Do me a favor and mute your phone. Got somebody mute your phone for me so we can keep going with the Q&A. Okay, now listen, check this out. You look at your supreme destiny, or you look at what you're trying to get to. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. And if what you're trying to get to is what you're trying to get to, all your motivation is in that invisible place. Your job is to bring that invisible place into your physical reality. If you only concentrate on your physical reality, you'll never get to the invisible place. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Right. This is facts. Your job is to pull what is into your imagination into your physical reality. But you cannot do that if you only look at your physical reality. In your physical reality, you're broke. You don't have the credit score you need to get the house. Your car has an engine light on. Your wife is mad at you right now. You went to sleep angry. Your pinky toe hurts. Your bunions hurt. Your clothes shrunk in the closet without your permission. Whatever it is, because you didn't gain no weight, your clothes shrunk. You know what I'm saying, right? Whatever it is, if you're not looking at your physical, if you're not looking at the imaginary reality that you want, you would immediately get frustrated. Think about that for a second. When you're in school, if some of you went to college, if you look at the quiz, and just the quiz, you're going to be mighty frustrated and panicked because you don't know if you're going to pass this quiz. But if you keep looking at graduation, you have enough motivation to study for the quiz. Okay? Let me put this in personal relationship time. If you look at I want to be married for 50 years, you can get past that argument that lasted 50 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so the way you stop worrying is you stop looking at what you're worrying about. And you only focus on what you're trying to accomplish. Does that make sense? Yeah, if you want to stop worrying, you stop looking at what you're worrying about and you look forward to what you're trying to pull into existence. Because remember, if you observe it, you give it energy. And if you give it energy, it will grow. Some of your haters are only effective because you keep worrying about them. If you stop looking at the people against you, they will literally stop being against you. And if they continue to be against you, they will be irrelevant or a great blog you can write about. Does this make sense? Okay. So, great. Is there another? Well, we got plenty of questions. Come on. Go. Yes, go with your question. We're talking about how to master your faith. I have 3 things. I'm going to work them in. Okay? I'm going to work them in. But I want you to ask me questions about how to master, because you cannot worry and master your faith. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. So we're taking questions over the phone, even on Facebook Line, and all in front of us. Go ahead. Ask me a concise question.
Do you need to know what you want in order to be the master of your faith?
Absolutely. Okay, you need to know what you want. Now, 2 things I want to say about that, okay? If you don't know what you want, you're just floating around. And you're right, you're nomad, right? Wandering. You're just floating around. And nobody has ever hit a target floating around. Here's a prime example that I love to give to you. So I'm a veteran, and I actually shot 40 out of 40 in the United States Army. That meant 40 targets, 40 rounds. I hit every one of them. If you turned the lights off, and I didn't know where the targets were, and I had 40 rounds, and I never got to see the targets, and I would have just shot 40 rounds, I would have hit the target once or twice. That's 2 out of 38. That's terrible odds.
Terrible.
Now watch this. Do the math on that for me real quick. 2 out of 38. Okay, we want to like. That's 1 out of 16. No, 1 out of 19. 1 out of 19. There we go. 1 out of 19. I'm thinking in my head 13%. What is that?
0.05.
0.05%. I'm worse.
No,
okay.
5%.
5%. Okay. 5%. Now watch this here. How many of you have faith enough to keep hitting your goal when you're only 5% successful?
Woo.
You get it? So if you want to increase your success level, you need to be able to see the target. Does that make sense? Do me a favor. We got the phone lines open so everybody can ask questions while I'm doing this particular phone call. Very different phone call. It's a mutual line for me. Okay? Now check it out. If you're hitting your target by accident because you don't have one, then you will be demotivated and you will only be a 5% person trying to be 100% successful. So you need a target. Does that make sense? You need a target. Or you'll hit every iceberg like the Titanic. You need a target. Now let me speak to my other. I said I want to bring 2 things about this. Here's my other people. Some of you don't know your target. Let me bless you right now. If you don't know your target, don't worry. You need to know what you do not want. Knowing what you don't want in your life is actually more powerful than not knowing anything. If you don't know, if you know what you don't want, I can't put on you what you don't want. Oh, this is important. This is very important. If you know you don't want to be married to that man, I can't tell you something. Listen, you know, if you get divorced, you going whatever. I don't know, whatever people say. Okay, I don't want to get into religious talk, but you understand what I'm saying. If you know that this relationship isn't for you, I can't put that relationship on you because my standards for you run your life. Think about that. How many of you are literally married to somebody because your mama picked them or your church picked them? You understand what I'm saying? Now let's take it out of relationships. If actually let's put it into religion real quick. There's a great story. You don't have to like religion or the Bible. I'm going to bring up Christian religion. There's a great story about King David and King Saul. King Saul, and again, if you're not religious, just look at this as a folk tale if you want to. King Saul said, David, you're gonna slay Goliath? Man, listen here, man, I got this great armor. Okay, now I want you to think about this for a second. The king's armor had to be the best in the land. He's the king. This isn't Walmart armor. Okay, this is, you're right, this isn't Parade or HEB brand will be in Texas. Right, I don't know. Which way you say? Dollar Tree. Say Dollar Tree. Well, armor. This is real armor. It's protecting the king. And David, who is just a peasant sheep herder, puts on the armor and then says, you know what, king, this doesn't fit me. Guys, listen to me. People are controlling your life because it works for them, and they think what works for them will work for you. And if you know, hey, your beautiful armor doesn't fit me, then you know that no matter how beautiful the armor is, you won't wear it. If you know what you don't, if you don't know what you want, if you know what you don't want, what you don't want can no longer exist. What you allow will persist. And you only allow the things that you actually want. And if you say no, you'll be like Neo in the Matrix. You put your hand out and the bullets just stop. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So that's that one. Give me another one before I get another question. Got one?
Okay.
And anybody on the phone too, just chime in.
What sacrifices are needed to be made to master your own faith?
Sure. So the question is, what sacrifices need to be made to master your own fate? Now that is going to become individualized. Okay, different people have different things. Donald Trump, who is a billionaire, has billion-dollar sacrifices. Okay, if you're, I don't know, climbing your way out of a trash can, I think that was last week's phone call, you have trash can sacrifices. So here is the actual answer to your question, because it's individualized. So I have to give you the actual answer. Whatever you sacrifice, you need to be willing to die for it. Okay? Watch it. If you're trying to master your fate, that means you're identifying, I have a fate. I don't belong where I am. I'm a Stellar Award-winning artist and a Grammy Award-winning artist on multiple albums. Give me 5 Grammys each time I drop an album. Okay? Does this make sense? I'm speaking it all over you right now, right? You get it? Now, I'm saying, this is what I want. 5 Grammys, 5 Stellars, and TVs and commercials with LeBron James, and I even want to do a Campbell's Noodles soup commercial, right? This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I have. This is what I can do. What am I willing to sacrifice for that? Whatever you decide, you need to be willing to die for it to get what you want. Nobody, now this is important, because sometimes you guys sacrifice, but you're not willing to die for it. And so there's a way, it's called, in Think and Grow Rich, it's called having a burning desire. Okay, I'm saying the same thing, I'm using a different phrase. No one sacrifices anything that doesn't hurt. That is the exact opposite of what a sacrifice means. If you sacrificed it, you loved it, you needed it, and it added value to your life. Okay, right? I need you to understand. That is a sacrifice. The sacrifice came from my herd, my flock, my harvest. I need this. And this sacrifice adds value to me. And now does it add value to me? I went out here and planted it. I worked hard for this. Okay? Does this make sense? But to sacrifice means to let it go. You cannot let something go that you love if you're not willing to die for what you want. Listen, the words that you're using and the words that you guys understand. You guys are claiming to sacrifice, but you're not, because you won't admit the fact that if you gotta let it go, you love it too. If you ever love something and you have to sacrifice it, it hurts. Ask yourself, does this hurt more than the victory I will get when I get to what I want? Does that help you? That's the most accurate answer I could possibly give you. You guys have watered down the word sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? I'll stop. Like, I watch some of you fast and you give up like bread. As if bread is something that hurts you if you don't have. No, give up something that you really love, like Coca-Cola or whatever it is, right? I'm actually talking about people that actually know, right? You know what I'm saying? That's something you love. The reason why you can't shed that 10 pounds is because you won't sacrifice the diet that keeps putting 10 pounds on you. So when you sacrifice it, something that you sacrifice, it has 3 elements to it. You love it, it adds value to your life, and you don't want to let it go. Please write that down.
I am.
She said, I am. If you sacrifice it, you love it, it adds value to your life. Even if it doesn't serve you, right? Because sometimes things add value to your life and they no longer serve you. You love it, it adds value to your life, and you don't want to let it go. One of the story I love to tell a child. Daddy, what's going on with that tree? It's beautiful. Oh, well, son, listen, man, the tree is doing a great job. It's summertime, it's springtime, the tree is doing good. They walk out the same house, wintertime. Dad, what happened to the tree? It was beautiful. And the dad says, no, son, the tree is still beautiful. The tree is just smart enough to sacrifice the leaves that you say make it look beautiful so it can survive in the wintertime. Some of you are not willing to let go of your leaves so you can survive the cold, harsh rain and snow of the wintertime. If you keep the leaves in the wintertime, all your blessings, energy, and nutrients go to the leaves and nothing goes to the roots. Okay? If you keep the leaves that make you look good, okay, I'm using air quotes with my little finger, right? If you keep the leaves that make you look good, in the wintertime, you're going to die feeding the beauty.
God.
So don't let trees be smarter than you when it comes to sacrificing.
Okay.
Does this make sense? Shed the leaves, survive this winter. Let me help you here, okay? Seasons, okay, what happens after winter? What season comes next?
Spring.
Okay, spring, great. What comes after spring?
Summer.
Okay, summer, great. What comes after summer?
Fall.
Okay, and what comes after fall?
Winter.
Has this ever changed?
No.
Never. Ever, ever, ever.
No.
So guess what? Your life works the same way. There are seasons in which you'll have plenty, in which you'll have lack. Are you hearing me? Like, there are seasons. Some of you right now are in spring, and you're in summer. Fall is coming. Save 10% of your income. Some of you are in your marriage, and it's fall. Okay? However you do it, I need you to understand that every now and then you have to shed the leaves. Now, I mean, literally, consistently, you always have to shed the leaves to survive the cold, harsh weather that is coming. And listen, wintertime is coming, whether you save or not. It will be wintertime in your life. I don't care how much you love the holidays, it's still cold outside, unless you're in Texas.
Yes.
Okay. Unless you're in South Texas,
Yes.
then it's just 90 degrees everywhere, right? It's California too, right? But besides that, you get what I'm saying? Don't let trees be smarter than you when it comes to sacrifices. Does that help? Okay, so I'm opening back up for questions. Oh, actually, do we have any questions over the phone? We'll take one from the phone. Anybody want to unmute, ask a question? Anybody? 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, we'll come back to you in a second. We'll come back to you. Well, you know, a lot of people. I attract a lot of introverts. Okay, we'll come back to you in a second. Here's the one thing I'm going to give you 3 things right. We're on topic. I'm trying to help you in this phone call. Okay, how you master your faith is scientific. Okay, it's science. Listen, if you're religious, if you're not, this world is governed by rules. And you can break the rules, bend the rules, but the rules still exist. Now, I'm not talking about man-made rules, okay? We come up with laws for everything, and then we come up with a law to protect us against the law. And then when we get mad at that law, we come up with a law to protect us against the law for that law that we didn't like, and then we cancel that law. I don't know if you guys live in the real world, but there's a law that's going to be written tomorrow that you're not going to like. You understand, okay? But there are some objective laws that you can't do anything about. And I want to talk to you tonight about 3 of them by Newton. Okay? Newton's first law of motion says, an object at rest will remain at rest until an unbalanced force acts upon it. Okay? I got all these memorized because I lived my entire life by them. Okay? An object at rest will remain at rest until an unbalanced force acts upon it. You also heard of this as called inertia. Okay? Let me give you a good example of inertia. You're driving 70 miles per hour and you get hit head on. You don't realize you're going 70 miles per hour because there is something called a wind shield. But you're going 70 miles per hour. And when you abruptly stop, your body will continue to go 70 miles per hour until an unbalanced force acts upon it, which is the windshield. Does that make sense? You're constantly in motion when you're going, but you're not just in motion, you're in a 70 mile per hour motion. And the windshield will stop that, which gets a new third law, but we'll say that in a second, okay? Here's what I'm trying to get you to see. Everything in this life is in motion. It's in vibration. You are in constant motion. If you're sitting down, you're in motion right now. You're falling at 9.86 meters a second. the couch or the ground or the chair is just stopping you. But you are in constant motion. Does everybody get that? Let me apply it to your life. You are constantly moving to your dreams or from your dreams. Period. Until an unbalanced force acts upon you. If you want to master your faith, you need to first respect the fact that you are in motion, whether you want to be or not. Inaction is actually an action. It's just not an action that serves you. Some of you are going, I'm just not going to do anything. And you get into relationships and you get into an argument. You know what? I'm just not going to say anything else no more. And the moment you did that, you allowed negative forces to come into your relationship. Because if you're not constantly filling your relationship with positivity, when you stop, you leave room for the other forces to come against you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I'll make it make more sense. I have an engineer's mind. I'm a computer programmer. I only think in a straight line. Okay? In every argument, in every situation, in every job place, in every situation of your life, check this out. Your job is to give all the good forces that you can see and you cannot see enough to keep talking well about you. And, watch it, give no energy to the negative forces. Okay, if it say, just hit done if it says a storage sentence, right? You get it? Check this out. If you're at job and your boss is bad to you at your job is to give all the good forces enough energy to talk about you greatly. And respect the fact that there are bad forces that don't want you there. Give the bad forces nothing. Give the good forces everything. This entire world is governed by rules. I'm talking about the objective rules. If you're Baptist, if you're Pentecostal, if you're Muslim, give me some other religions. If you're Catholic. Buddhist, Catholic, well, that's Catholic denomination. That's right. So,
no.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to be bad to our Catholic brothers, because that's still Christian, right? Catholic, Christian, Baptist, still right. Yeah. Buddhist, atheist, all those subjective rules change. Okay. Is Jesus Lord? Yes, if he's in your circle, right? If you're Muslim, he's not. You understand what I'm saying? All these things change. What doesn't change is Newton's first law of motion. You can go to China, inertia is still gonna hold you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Go to outer space, inertia is still gonna find you. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm saying. If you want to win at life, you need to keep moving. Oh, I just made this make sense. I did all that talking just to make this make sense to you. If you want to be a master of your own fate, since you're already moving, you need to keep moving forward. Does that make sense? If you want to master your fate, you're already moving, so you might as well move forward. Remember, there are going to be unnecessary battles that are going to come up that want to take you sideways, 8-degree angle, all that stuff. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the unbalanced force. Watch this here. If you're moving by law, it has to be an unbalanced force that acts upon you. Can I explain your haters just for a second? If you have a hater, it means you're moving. Oh, man. I'm trying to make this make sense for you, right? I'm trying to help you, okay? If you have opposition, it's not that you're not good enough. It's you're so good that you require by law the opposition. Okay, anything at motion will remain in motion until an unbalanced force acts upon it. Throw a paper ball. A few things are going to act upon the paper ball: air resistance and gravity. Air resistance is going to push it, slow it down. Gravity is going to pull it towards the earth. Mm-hmm. Those are two different haters of your throwing. Make sense? Now, if you somehow throw the paper ball fast enough and hard enough, and you can get the paper ball away enough to get past air resistance, then it will literally go in orbit and never stop moving. Okay? You want to, watch it, go fast enough, which is, I'm going to get there in a second, to never stop moving. You want to orbit around your dreams, not be stopped by gravity. Oh, I'm trying to help somebody. Okay? Check this out. Let's simplify it even more. If you have an unbalanced force acting against you, you're not in a bad spot. You're moving forward. The only way you can have an unbalanced force acting against you is because you're moving forward. Make sense? Right? So let's simplify that and I'll open it back up for Q&A. In order to master your fate, I need you to seriously take charge of Newton's first law of motion. An object at rest will remain at rest until an unbalanced force acts upon it. So watch it. Very simple. Everybody listen or take notes. Very simple, then I'll open up for Q&A. If you're moving forward, you're not going to stop moving forward until an unbalanced force acts upon you. Make sense? I'll explain the second half of that in the third part. If you're at rest, you're not going to stop being at rest till an unbalanced force acts upon you. That's why a lot of y'all are losing, because you're at rest. And you won't fill yourself up enough to start moving. Write this down. If your self is at rest, you're going to stay at rest. If you're moving, you're going to stay moving. I don't care how much you keep saying I want to go back to school. Until you go back to school, you not going to enroll. I don't care how much you say I want my relationship to work. If you are in the rest position and my relationship is not working, I don't know what to do, your relationship will not work because you're not moving. If you move, all the way will be shown to you. If you stay still, all the way to stay still will be shown to you. Hashtag plant better. If you stay moving, if you start moving, you don't have to know how. You got to move. And if you stay stay in a rest position. You don't have to know how to keep resting. The way will be shown. Think about it. How many of you have been trying to work out all year long? Right? And you came up, you said, I'm going to go work out. And you stayed at rest. Alarm clock went off. And then you literally thought of a lot of ways to keep yourself at rest. Got up. You would now find all the excuses to keep moving. Teeth and get out of here real quick. You get it? If you start moving, you'll find excuses to keep moving. If you keep resting, you'll find excuses to keep resting. That is your life explained in science. That simple. Newton's first law of motion. Got it? All right. Open back up for question and answer. Go ahead. Even on the phone. If you got, pay attention to the Facebook Live too.
How important is your circle?
Okay, I'm listening. No, go ahead. No, go ahead over the phone. Go ahead over the phone. Yes, I sure can.
Okay, when you were doing the reference of the ball being thrown and the air and the gravity having the effect that a hater would have on us, is that saying that there are people in our lives, the gravitational pull on our dreams and on the fate that we probably desire for ourselves?
You are absolutely correct. So the question was, is that saying that there are people in our lives that have the gravitational pull on our dreams and they stop us? Absolutely correct. They have to be by law. By law of motion, you have to have the people in your life that are pulling against you. By law. Two reasons why. Reason number one, human beings need obstacles. We don't move without obstacles. Please know that. You will not lose weight until you get tired of your body.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
right? You understand, right? You will not save money until you're tired of being broke.
Yes. Okay.
Human beings, you won't buy a bigger pair of shoes till you start threatening getting corns. So your shoes get too small, right? This makes sense. You need obstacles. That's number one. Here's number two, and here's even better. Let me teach you how to get past the gravitational pull people in your life. Who wants to know that information?
Oh, Lord.
Okay. This is a blessing of all blessings. Some people pull against you and don't stop them from listen to me well. None of you are going to go outside right now, get on top of your car and jump off and say, gravity, you better not take me to the ground. You're wasting your energy. As a matter of fact, if you literally try to stop gravity, people will admit you to the hospital. Hey, what you out here doing, man? I'm trying to stop gravity. What? Time. All right, go out there and look for more time. What you doing? I'm out here looking for more time. What? You need to go. You know what? Hey, listen, come here. Let me take you to the hospital, okay? Because you can't find no more time, no more than you can stop gravity. So stop trying to stop the gravity people in your life. And stop convincing them to stop being gravity. It's a waste of energy. Does that make sense? Here's how you overcome it. Aerodynamics. See, the reason planes fly, they don't defy gravity. They use gravity. The law of aerodynamics would not work without the law of gravity. Here's what that means. You can get the plane off the ground, but you wouldn't be able to steer it without the pull of gravity. Listen, you guys cannot steer to your victories without the pull of the people that don't want you there. You cannot steer a plane if when you turn the plane left, that's you pulling it against gravity to the left. You're accelerating it with gravity. That's how you actually turn something that's moving. You accelerate it in a new direction. And when you accelerate it in a new direction, it pulls against gravity. Gravity pulls so you can control your plane because of the pull of gravity. Guys, listen to me. You can control your life better if you use the gravity haters in your life. You can literally steer to where you deserve to be when you recognize they don't want you to be nowhere. There's a spiritual way to say this. You should be grateful for your locked doors because they guide you to the open ones. If you keep trying to kick down the doors that weren't meant for you, you'll get on the other side of it blessings that were not meant for you. Make sense? Use gravity with aerodynamics. Gravity is okay. Listen, some of the people in your life, that's okay that they don't. And if they're family, that's okay too. Just move forward and move. Right? Just move there. If they're a hater, that's okay too. They're free advertising. Got it? All right. I think I got another question over the phone. Oh no.
With us to trust our faith, that's that we can control our faith and don't have to trust God to control our faith.
Okay, so I'm sure that was going to come back at some point. You can control your faith. The question is, can you control your faith? You have to trust God to control your faith. Okay, how much time? All right, here we go. Nothing about what I'm saying is replacing your God. If you're religious and you think that, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you're religious, your God allowed you to be able to use the laws of physics for your benefit. Does that make sense? And that's a great question. I'm very glad he asked. I'm not replacing your God. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm saying, in fact, let's go to the religious. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So are the laws of physics. He owned them. So he lets you use them. to your advantage. Does that make sense? No sense about you praying to the moon, praying to go to the moon, when you can do mathematics. You can pray first, pray your math be straight, and then do math problems to get to the moon. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Good, sweet. Great question. Great question. I am not trying to replace somebody's religion. That's not. But it's to ask that question. It's not him. I'm sure he's throwing me an alley-oop, but it's not that question. It's the same thing. Okay, so you use your heart. You use exercise. Are you using exercise? God knows when you're gonna die. So are you keeping your body healthy in spite of Him? Right? Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. The question doesn't come from a real place. It comes from a place of fear. And anything you don't understand, you try to kill. You get it? If you work out, you're helping God keep you here longer. If you use the laws of physics, you're helping God help you get to what you want. Does that make sense? All right. Now somebody had a problem with me saying helping God, but we'll move past that. Okay. Number 2. Okay. The second thing I want you to understand, and then we'll open it back up for Q&A. The second law of Newton. Okay? I'm going to simplify it. More acceleration means more speed. Okay? The more you go, the faster you go, the further you get. Does that make sense? Okay. If you're moving forward, the more you accelerate, the faster you get there. Wait. Okay. I got you. Newton's first law of motion said the object got rest will remain at rest until unbetter force acts upon it. The second law is a bit longer for me I don't want to confuse you. I'm giving it to you in the layman's terms. You're already moving. If you push faster, you get there faster. Make sense? Let's do this in miles per hour. I don't know if you've ever realized it. Miles per hour is actually a math equation. You go 60 miles per hour. In an hour, you will get 60 miles. If you go 90 in an hour, you'll get there in 45 minutes versus 60 minutes. Does that make sense? Yeah. The faster you push, the quicker you'll get to your destination. I'm trying to help you right now in this place. If you want to master your faith, you can't just get up and just lollygag around here. Especially, so I had a religious question, so let me talk to my religious folk. It shouldn't be nobody hardworking. Nobody should work harder than anybody religious. Nobody. I should have to literally tell you to take some rest. Because I don't care if you're in the Quran, the Christian Bible, you are working for a higher power. And so you don't work for me. You work to please whoever you deify. That means you give him or her or whatever your deity is all the honor and glory. That means you should be breaking your neck working as hard as you can. Does that make sense? How many of us know lazy religious people? Mm-hmm. You're completely antithetical to your religion.
Now you're preaching.
Right? You're completely antithetical to your religion. It's not fair. I'm not telling you not to be religious. I am telling you that if you're going to hold on to your religion, you need to hold on to all of it. And a big chunk of that is you are here to make a difference on planet Earth. But you won't make a difference in your own goals because you're moving at 1 mile per hour. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. Mm-hmm. So Newton, if you want to master your fate, like that, check me out. Yeah. If you want to get there further and faster, you got to move. How does that apply to your life? Do some research. If your life requires you to be on camera, get a haircut. Right? I'm talking to myself, right? If your life requires you to get on camera, trim it up a little bit, lose some weight. You get what I'm saying? Like you cannot say, oh, well, I don't like my body, but you're not doing anything about it. You're not respecting Newton's second law of motion. You're getting up and moving every day, but you acting like you coming here tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. You're gonna die one day. And if you want to master your own fate, you need to outwork everybody on planet Earth in your field. See, I got to say this. Let me say two things about this. Thing number one, I often do, I'm like Albert Einstein, I do a lot of thought experiments. And I often look at people. I just look at them, just mosey around. I invite you to just go outside tomorrow and just look at the people. Just look at them. Just observe them. Nobody's in a rush. Nobody's moving with a purpose. They're just moseying through life, sleep.
Especially down south.
It's right. It's inappropriate. I'm not telling you to rush everywhere. Enjoy life. But if you're trying to have a PhD and you're not enrolled, you're wrong.
Period.
You're wrong.
Period.
You're absolutely wrong. If you want to be married but you're not in the dating field, you're wrong.
Oh, Lord.
You're wrong. And see, then you go, well, I'm waiting on the Lord to send me somebody. You're wrong because you ain't changing you. You got to change you. You have to change you. You must change. You can't wait for the Lord to send you somebody. He can't send you anybody because you ain't changing you. You must change you. Or you'll keep taking the old you to these new relationships. Does this make sense? This is I'm saying, mastering your life. You must be working harder than everybody else. Here's the second thing I want to say about that. You see this in the NBA or professional teams. It doesn't matter which sport. Thank you. You see this all the time. You see the championship team. They oftentimes don't even make the playoffs. You know why? Because the people who they beat on the way to the top are pissed off about that. And in the off season, they are staffing to their weaknesses, and they're practicing harder. And they're running faster. And they did 15 drills a day. Now they up to 25 drills a day. They are not at rest. But since you won, you think success taught you something. I have never in my life learned anything from success. Success has never taught me anything. The only thing success has ever taught me is to be lazy and to improve nothing. Success taught me to be arrogant. To do nothing, I got it. There is somebody out there right now working really hard to take my spot, whatever that spot may be. And they're going to pass me up if I think I won. Does that make sense? Second law of motion. If you want to get there, you need to get there as fast as you can. That means don't use your unnecessary energy in other places. Right? Don't do it like he pumped up back there, right? Don't use your necessary energy on unnecessary places. If you want that job and it requires a degree, go get a degree. Stop waiting on the hookup. Stop waiting on the Lord to give you extra favor. Help him by getting an extra qualification. You got to do it. It's the second law of motion. Master your fate. Too many of you. How much time? Let me see. Okay, 15 minutes. Too many of you. I'm going to say something very inflammatory, and then I'm going to let you guys open up for question and answer so you can attack me. Too many of you are using prayer as procrastination. It's no. He already told you, or your deity of choice already told you can have it. What you praying about it for? Now it's movement time. You did the spiritual side. Now you have to do the physical side. You cannot spiritually get through this physical earth. It takes both.
Yes.
You understand? You are a spiritual being having a spiritual experience, whatever, right? However Deepak Chopra says it. And I got no issue with that. But you still got to pay these bills. I don't care. You can be a preacher. I probably got some preachers. Listen. I don't know. Light Company X is not saying, "Oh, you're a preacher, man. Don't worry about it, man. We're not. No, listen, don't. Oh, you're a school teacher. Don't worry about these school supplies. We're gonna give them to you for free." No. As a matter of fact, for whatever crazy reason, our government makes our school teachers pay for their own supplies.
Facts.
But if you want to win as a school teacher, you gotta save enough money to get some pencils and stuff.
Facts.
Make sense? That's second law of motion. All right, Q&A. Let's go. So who got questions? Over the phone. Go ahead. You give me one first. I'll go on the phone second.
How important is your circle to your faith?
Oh my goodness. How important is your circle to your faith? Your circle is vitally important. Who you are around is where you will go. Period. Point blank. If you are around a bunch of losers, you will go to loser land. If you're around a bunch of people making excuses, you will be king of excuses. The mayor of Excusesville. If you are around a bunch of millionaires, you will become the next millionaire.
Man.
Your future matters and your circle matters. But your circle will always determine your future. Got it? Mm-hmm. And your future better determine your circle. Now, I just said something completely different there. Your circle will always determine your future. But your future, if you're willing to die for it, it better determine your circle. You cannot be a medical doctor hanging around a bunch of janitors. Nothing wrong with janitors. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, if you want to be the best janitor, you need to go hang around janitors.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If I want to be the best motivational speaker, I need to be around the best motivational speaker. That makes sense? Which is why Les Brown's my mentor. The world's number one motivational speaker. Does that make sense? Okay. How can I learn and I'm not opening up a book? Do y'all honestly, there's no way possible that you think that I'm sitting up here doing these hour phone calls with this much information and y'all don't think I study for this. That's crazy if you think I just run up here and shoot for the hip. It's absolutely insane if you think for 1 second I do not work on my craft.
Sounds like it.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying? I do not just sit up here, right? I'm not getting on no stage and saying nothing. Make sense? All right. I think I got a question over the phone.
Question is, with you being able to control your own fate, can you also control the environment that you're around, meaning the people you hang with, going back to the question you didn't answer? Does the people you hang around affect your fate?
Gotcha.
But can you, if you're winning and they losing, can you help them winning by your winning habit?
Okay, great. Let's answer that question. If you can you control, I'm with you. I see your face. If you controlling your fate, can you control the people around you and their loser habits if you're a winner? No. You can never change people. Now, if you want to change their habits, you can become an example of good habits, and they will rise to your example or fall away. Okay? If they're poor and you're trying to help them, does this make sense? If they're poor, you're trying to help them, then what you need to do is stop being poor.
Hello.
And then come back and help them.
Okay.
You cannot help poor people being poor. Listen, hey man, I need to sign on for this credit, this loan for me. Oh man, I got 300. Well, I got 300 too. Yeah, we just missed that whole opportunity. Does this make sense? You cannot be poor and help poor people. I'm not telling you not to help. That last point on that one. You cannot change people. If they don't want to go with you, they won't go with you no matter how much you love them. As a matter of fact, the more you love them and they don't want to go with you, it's the more they will reject you. All you can do is notify people, here's where I'm going. Listen to what I said. I use notify, not ask. You notify people where you're going. And then that's where you doggone going. Stop asking people, can you be great? You were born great. Let's get another question. Another question before I get to my third point. Anybody? Over the Facebook Live, over the phone. Anybody? Somebody. Anybody? Scream!
Well,
Okay,
she
said she got one on the phone. She got one on the phone.
As I'm listening to you do this call, what I feel about myself is that I have been a master. I've just chosen the wrong faith. And just faith goes towards prosperity.
Poof. You hit the nail on the head.
That's why you said you don't even do faith in the beginning of the call, because we are masters.
That's right.
We're just masters at doing it wrong.
No.
Well, I won't say we.
No. That's everybody, right? She said, yes, she's right. She said, listen, we are masters. We're just masters at doing it wrong. And that's the truth. Your life has been your creation. You have constructed your masterpiece. You just constructed a masterpiece of poverty. But it's a you constructed one hell of a piece of poverty, though. I mean, you got divorce and repossessions. I mean, you literally masters Leonardo da Vinci your poverty. Like, you did a great job. Now, like she said, do an about face and do it for prosperity. You hit your target. You just hit the target that did not serve you. Okay? Now, scientifically, what your thoughts have created in your life, you can uncreate by thinking another thought. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. This is important. If you have something in your life that you do not like, you can uncreate that argument by thinking of the thing that you want. I hate you. I hate you too. If you start to appreciate what you love about that person, that argument will fade away. If you focus on the correction, that's what you're going to do. If you remember how much you love her, that's what you'll get. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Number 3. Last one. Newton's third law of motion says, and this is because she got us right into it. Oh, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Right? Okay? Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Very important. That means if I punch this wall, it's going to punch me back. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go back to the windshield that I brought up in point number 1, because I said I was going to come back there. I'm driving 70 miles per hour. The unbalanced force that acts upon my face is the windshield. The reason why I'm going to die is because I hit the windshield at 70 miles per hour. How hard did the windshield hit me? 70 miles per hour. So it's no longer 70 miles per hour. It's something 140, but the pounds per square inch is way higher than that. Okay, because right now, and don't ask me why I know this information, I just know it. Gravity is pulling on your body at 13 pounds per square inch right now, and that's comfortable. When you start getting them square inches on your face going at 70 miles per hour, and then how thick that windshield is, because that will change it, right? That's normally, even if it's going 70, if the windshield is extra thick, extra safety, it's going to hit you hard. It's literally going to rip your face completely apart. It's going to knock it inside out. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because of Newton's third law of motion. You hit the windshield, and the windshield hit you. This is exactly why when you see mosquitoes, and you can't see them when you hit them, you just see the guts or the juices, because the last thing that mosquito saw was its rear end, by virtue of science. Now, how does that apply to you? You want to master your fate? You better watch how you treat people. Because some of y'all hitting people at 70 miles per hour, and you getting hit back with 70 miles per hour. And it may not come from that person. It's coming from that job you wanted that you missed. That loan you was praying for that you didn't get. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Make sense? Okay, I got time for one more question, and I'm going to close right on that. Who's got my question? Okay, go ahead.
How do you know when you've mastered your faith?
Okay, great. How do you know when you've mastered your faith? So now I'm going to close on your question. So let me say this here, and I have to close on your question now because that was awesome. It wasn't even part of the script, but I'm glad you gave it to me. Watch what you put out into the universe. Watch what you put out. Okay, if you're religious, well, he's replacing it. I'm not. You reap what you sow. We're saying the same thing. Does it make sense? If you put it out, you get it back. Some of you are in poverty because all you do is put out poverty. If you put out prosperity, it would be physically impossible for you to be in poverty. Now, you may not push poverty on people, but you put it out with your mind. And you talk poverty. And you think poverty. And you have poverty-ridden conversations. So all you get is poverty. Now, how do you know when you have mastered your fate? Very simple answer that no one ever wants to hear. It's when you trust the voice on the inside of you. Okay, if you're religious of the Christian faith, Holy Spirit. Okay, I don't care what you want to call it. Okay, or the goddess, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your intuition is always guiding you to where you are supposed to be. Period. You are a genius. We keep putting all this poverty stuff on top of you. We tell you where you belong in money. We tell you a woman, don't be aggressive. We tell you you're black, don't be rich. We tell you you're white, don't hang around these people. We got all these things we tell you what to do. We tell you to follow the rules. And the rules are only here to keep you in poverty if you're already in poverty. Please know that the rules written by man are written by wealthy people, and the wealthy people are upholding their condition, which means they're also upholding your condition. Oh, we're going to wake you up in the last 2 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm a winner and I wrote the rules, I probably did not write them for your benefit. I wrote them for your benefit in my view. Which means stay where you are as I keep where I am. Does that make sense? You mastered your fate when you've trusted your own intuition. There's a voice on the inside of you telling you, go back to school. And every day you don't do it, you keep yourself further and further away from what you want to do. There's a voice inside of you saying, drop that album. This is a great video. This is a great this, right? This is great. Your voice inside of you saying, I got Grammys. And every day that you don't move with the second law of motion faster to those Grammys is every day that you are not living a life worthy of you. You will make good decisions if you follow your intuition. When the voice on the inside of you is louder than the voices outside of you, then you have mastered your fate. My name is Antonio T. Smith Jr. I cannot tell you what to do with your life. However, I can tell you, if you want to have a better harvest, you can simply plant better seeds. Thank you all for coming out. God bless you, and good night.